Welcome to Civitavecchia. Today we will take you to discover our city. We gave you a map of the city. You can use this map to better find your way around and so that you can make the most out of your time here in Civitavecchia. Our route starts and ends at Largo della Pace, and it will allow you to make a complete and interesting city tour. You can get off and get on the bus anytime you want. First stop, Piazza Calamata. Calamata Square. The first stop is at Piazza Calamata, the oldest square in the city, with a typical medieval appearance. Getting off at this stop, you will be exactly where the city's shopping street starts, but you will also be just a short walk from the historical center. Crossing Piazza Calamata, you can easily reach the ancient heart of the city like Piazza Leandra and Piazza Aurelio Saffi, two small squares that are connected to one another by the archetto, which means small arch. This arch was the ancient gate of the city walls, dated back to the 9th century. The old city center, rebuilt after the destruction of World War II, retains its atmosphere crystallized over time, and two of the most characteristic churches in this city are located here. The Church of St. Mary of Prayer, the oldest one, is also known as the Church of Death. Then the Church of the Star, which safeguards precious pieces of art inside. From the spot where the bus stopped in Piazza Calamata, if you turn right, you can also choose to pass through the ancient city gate known as Porta Livorno that was built at the behest of Pope Clement XIII in 1761. Porta Livorno used to be the only access point between the walled city and the port in the past, but today, it is the ideal gateway for a relaxing stroll with a splendid view of the oldest part of the port. Along the ancient walls, you can also admire the fountain built in 1743 by the famous architect Luigi Vanvitelli, otherwise known for building the Royal Palace of Caserta. Second stop, Piazza Vittorio Emanuele and St. Francis Cathedral. The second stop is at Piazza Vittorio Emanuele. Here, in this square, you are in the very center of the city. The Cathedral of St. Francis of Assisi, the main church of Civitavecchia, overlooks this square. The cathedral was built on the ruins of a small Franciscan church in 1610. Looking on your left, you can admire it, with its neoclassical facade of a double Ionic order and its single main and central door that opens on a wide staircase. Walking along the narrow streets which flanks the cathedral, you will visit the local market, known as the St. Lawrence Market. This area, which is clustered around Piazza Regina Margherita, has been gradually developing since 1884 after the demolition of the city walls that divided the town from the surrounding rural area. Nowadays this area is the heart of local economic activities. Walking among it, you will smell its scents and hear the dealers' chaotic shouting. That will make you feel like you have stepped back in time. A few steps away from the bus stop in Piazza Vittorio Emanuele, you will find yourself at the entrance of the main shopping area of the city, Centicelli High Street. This street is a pedestrian area full of with shops and restaurants. It is one of our city's main meeting place. Near the beginning of Centicelli High Street, you will find the entrance to the National Archaeological Museum of Civitavecchia across the street. The museum, located in an 18th-century building built by Pope Clement XIII, preserves numerous archaeological findings from the ancient city and from the necropolises of this territory. The museum is located just a short walk from the entrance of Forte Michelangelo, the fortress symbol of the city of Civitavecchia, which now as in the past, overlooks the port basin. The construction of the fortress began in 1508 and was completed under the pontificate of Paul III. Although the following theory has never been proven, the main tower of the fortress was designed by Michelangelo Buonarroti, according to a local tradition, hence the name Forte Michelangelo. Third stop, Viale Garibaldi, Piazzale degli Eroi. Garibaldi Avenue and Heroes Square. The third stop takes you directly in the middle of Viale Garibaldi, where you will find the monument built in honor of Giuseppe Garibaldi and made by local sculptor Filippo Mattini in 1890. This is the widest avenue in the city. It starts from the Fort Michelangelo, which is now behind you, and it goes along the seafront, and it allows you to make a splendid walk along the promenade area called La Marina. This area often hosts events and shows, and it is not uncommon to find exhibitions of local and handmade products and street food stalls, as well as a variety of outdoor restaurants. Crossing the street on your left, you will find Heroes Square and the monument to the death of the fallen in the Great War, built in 1992 by the Turinese sculptor Riva. Here, you can also visit the Church of the Immaculate Conception, where you can see the image of Our Lady of Mercy. On April 24, 1854, so it is said, she had repeatedly moved her eyes. Penetrating the streets of the inner area, you will reach the old Jewish ghetto, which develops around Piazza Antonio Frati. This took shape at the end of the 17th century, when Pope Innocent XII ordered the construction of a suburb for the Jews. This is the origin of the name ghetto, although actually the buildings were never inhabited by Jews, but rather by families of fishermen and workers from the Kingdom of Naples. Today this area is certainly one of the most beautiful in the city, full of pizzerias, typical restaurants, and a few steps from the shops of Centicelli Avenue. Fourth stop, Viale Garibaldi e Largo Galli. Garibaldi Avenue and Galli Square. The fourth stop is at Largo Marco Galli. You are now very close to the Civitavecchia railway station and in front of Theon de Revel Avenue. This is a pedestrian area on the Civitavecchia promenade, which is called Pirgo. This avenue runs alongside the local bathing establishment and it is full of bars, ice cream parlors, and typical restaurants. In the evening, this area turns into the hub of local nightlife. Fifth stop, Viale della Vittoria e Largo San Francesco d'Assisi. Victory Avenue and St. Francis of Assisi Square. The fifth stop takes you to visit the church dedicated to the Japanese martyred saints, who landed in Japan in 1597 and lost their lives attempting to convert the Japanese population to Christianity. The scenes of martyrdom are skillfully depicted in the splendid frescoes by the famous Japanese painter Luka Hasegawa that decorates the interior walls of the church. In the middle of the small square in front of the church, you can see the statue of St. Francis of Assisi. Sixth stop, Park Oliveto. Olive Tree Grove Park. The sixth stop takes you to a place of total relaxation, a beautiful park full of ancient olive trees. Inside the park, there is a five-a-side football pitch, a tennis court, a playground for children, a bar, and a pizzeria. In this area, there are free benches to sit on, but it is also possible to sit on the lawn for a restorative break in the shadow of the olive trees. Seventh stop, Turin Baths. The seventh stop allows you to visit the archaeological complex of the Turin Baths, also known as the Priamo Baths, named after the emperor who founded the city of Centumcelli, ancient name of Civitavecchia. The site, located about 5 kilometers away from the city center, is one of the most important thermal complexes of the Roman era in the whole of southern Etruria area. If you want to visit it, you will take a step back in time, walking among the ruins of baths and rooms skillfully decorated with friezes, mosaics, and marble. Evidence of an ancient Roman culture, where thermal baths were not only places dedicated to personal care, but also meeting places and places of gathering and cultural exchange. For any further information, we remind you that our staff is at your disposal. We thank you for choosing us and wish you a pleasant day.